We are going to replace this frayed seat belt. The first thing we have to do is remove this piece, just like that. Just go in, move it out, and it's gone. Next thing, just roll it off. This is going to be tricky. Have to what we're gonna do is we're going to push this in. Grab the end here. This is easier if you have two hands and you're not filming. I'm going to stop this from spinning with one hand and then just use the other hand as well. I'm going to push the seat belt through the spindle here. I'm going to rotate it slightly back. Grab hold of this bit. We're going to pull it out. Here we go. So here's the end of our seat belt. As you can see, there's a metal pin in there that prevents this from pulling out entirely. And now we're going to remove this pin. We're going to block the spindle so it doesn't roll up. I'm just going to grab a screwdriver and stick that in there. There, that's somewhat secure. So now we're going to push out this pin, and then we can pull out the entire seat belt from the mechanism without having to remove any piece of the interior trim or the unit, and we don't have to disconnect the battery. So just pull the pin out. And now this seat belt should just pull right out. You just need to make sure that the spindle doesn't go spinning. So just use one hand to hold the spindle so it doesn't spin, and then use the other hand to pull the seat belt out. So now that the seat belt is out, you can get your new seat belt and notice the orientation, like how the way the seat belt is bent. It should go this. It should go facing front, to the front of the car, because that's the way it's going to roll up. So we're just going to have to push that through there, then fetch it from the end, pull it back, put the pin back in, and then we're good to go. Okay, so the seat belt is through. Took a bit of messing around. Now we just have to reinsert the pin here, and you have to take note. There's a wide opening here, wide slot, and a small slot. I'll show you later. The wide slot is where the seatbelt should come out, because that's where the pin is seated. Now that the pin is back in, we can just pull. It's going to give it a little bit of a tug, so it's going to seat properly. And then we can just let it roll. We can reinstall the bit of plastic trim here. Let's see if we can do this with one hand. Why do I make my life so difficult? So here we have a bit of trim. Just slide this over. seated in the, do the bottom first. And this side. Okay, this is much easier when you're using two hands. There we go. That's one part done. On the other end. Okay, well, first of all, we're just gonna lift this up, and then we have a seatbelt and 20 years of dirt and dust and probably leftovers from someone's lunch. And we just have to push this little pin here. We're gonna note the orientation right now, so we have the label that's going towards the seat. So make it a screwdriver. So we're just gonna push on that, hear a click, and we can pull this one out. So first we have to reset this pin, and we do that by pushing there on the metal tab. And we're gonna grab our seatbelt, label towards the seat, and we're gonna push it in, and we're done. That's it. That's all there's to it. We're gonna move this back. So move the seat back to its original position. Let's turn off copyrighted music here. And we can just. That is one new seat belt. So here we have the old seat belt. As you can see, it was fraying a bit, and it's not going to pass inspections like this, or at least not maybe this year, but not next year. So I got a replacement unit. It came with the entire unit like this. This is a second-hand unit with the seat belt you just saw me install. So here we have the units outside of the car. This is the replacement unit I got to replace the free seatbelt. What you have to do is you have to push this through here, and then this should come out here like this, and then you can push this pin out. To do is just put a tool or something in there so it cannot roll up, and use the second tool, just push the pin out like that. Now, and then we're going to pull the seat belt through and you need to keep hold of this, otherwise it will just spin and it will lose all its tension, and you have to wind it up before you reinsert the seatbelt. Now, to reinsert it, you might want to flatten this a bit. There's a narrow slot here, and there's a wider slot on the back. The wider slot is where the pin will sit. So you can, and it should go like this to the front of the car. See the bend it's making? That's because the way it's going to roll up. We just have to push that in, and that takes a little bit of force. And then you feed this back out to the front here, and now it cannot spin. But I'm just going to insert my tool again here. I'm going to grab a pin, reinsert it. I'm just going to pull on it. I'm going to make sure that it's seated properly, and then it can just roll up all the way. that's basically it. Now, one thing, if you buy a unit like this, then don't be scared if it doesn't want to roll off. Just need to position the unit just like it would be in the car. Just slowly tug on it here, and then you'll feel it unlock. It takes a bit of fiddling to find the correct orientation. Just imagine how it would be oriented when it is installed in the car while the car sits on a flat surface. Then you can just, then it will unlock and you can roll it off entirely. So one last thing, what to do when this happens. Well, that sucks. Roll it back up, and you can now feel that it has zero tension on the spring. I was gonna say you have to roll it back up about 17 times, but this looks like you're out of luck. So be careful. So let me show you real quick what just happened. Here's the spindle. This bit is for the emergency tensioner. Like when you're in an accident, this pipe contains a bit of explosive, will explode, will ignite. That will pull on this cable. That will pull on this spindle, and that will cause the seatbelt to be tensioned. Now, this part sits on top of here. This contains the spring with all the tension. So if we rotate like this, let me just put this one on here. Like, if you wind it up and then let go, you can see it's going to rotate back. But if you remove the seatbelt and let this go, all the tension will cause it to spin further, and then it's no longer under any tension. Like, what happens is this little plastic thing shoots out of the spring in here, and then the spring will just sit on the side, and this will spin freely, and there's no way to get this back in without taking this apart, I think. So if that happens, you have to take the unit apart, or have to remove it from the car, or replace it with an entirely different unit. If you're going to take it apart, if you're going to remove this from the car, always disconnect your battery, let it sit for 15 minutes, then unplug this one. And don't reconnect the battery until it is reinstalled, otherwise you're going to have some computer errors that you will not be able to reset unless you take it to the dealer, and it's expensive. Finally, the other end of the seat belt. So here's the little pin that you have to push. As you can see, if you push it far enough, then this will tilt. This plate will get stuck behind the seat belt, or behind the housing here, and your seat belt can slide out. Let's see if we can get a nice angle on this. Here we go. And when you push it back, it's reinserted. And finally, that's all there is to it. Easy.